Hi, this is Kerry Artak with Wicked Stocks bringing you your daily Tesla report for Monday, January 8th, 2024. And yes, I sound a little different. I'm traveling. My good mic broke. I'm using my laptop mic, which will go on for the next few days. I think you can hear me. It just doesn't have that crisp sound that the other mic has. So enough of that. Just want you to know why I sound different. Anyway, let's jump into the charts. Start with the big picture, work our way into the day itself, of course. And just to sort of recap the fact that we tested over the last couple of weeks this, what had been a targeted zone of longer term resistance from about 5 weeks earlier, that is now at 257.72 all week long. This is a descending 6-month channel top that stems off that July high of last year, below which the channel bottom, presently on the weekly chart at 179.22, remains a 3 to 5 month or sooner possibility. With respect to channel dynamics, there are many traders and fund managers who just, there's no clear signal for 179.22, but once you test the 257.22 formation, you reach for those 180 or 175 out of the money puts, for instance, that don't expire for at least 6 months, for instance. So anyway, that is the big picture play still as a possibility. I can't say that I expect it, but I will say that I wouldn't be surprised in the least if that does play out just the way channel structures tend to work. Now, what I do think is the clear signal for the upper 170s, and I'll just jump to this chart here, would be a settlement, as I've been saying now for the last couple of weeks, a settlement below this combination rising channel bottom 2/3 speed line, which is considered a 3 to 5 week objective anyway, holding below, once again, the 257.72 channel top. So holding above the upper 250s, we are still anticipating the low 220s as a 3 to 5 week objective. We're a couple of weeks into that, a week and a half anyway. And in fact, we could test this area this week by Friday's close if we close today below 238.10. This is an intermediate channel structure, still has weekly containment possibilities. We slipped below that last Friday, but closed just above it, as I recall. If we close, I don't remember the exact number. I think we closed right at it. Let's just put it that way. And if we did close below it, it was by such a narrow margin, it wasn't worth considering a sell signal. So we could go either way from here. This is a pivot point for the week itself. If we open below 238.10, I do think 229.60 should be considered intraday target. If we open above 238.10, it is quite possible that within the day we could rally back to the 248.58 rising 1/3 speed line. Excuse me. So that is the dynamic for the day. I will sneak a number in here for you kind of more aggressive day traders. And that is, now I just have it as a minor point, above the 238.10 level, I do have 241.28. Just a simple 3-day channel top that I think has upward pivot point qualities. And so I don't weight it as a pivot point. And all the points that we choose are carefully chosen, as I always say, but I will put this out there that if we push through above, open above, push through 241.28, then I think you've got follow through buying. We could then, I think the possibility of reaching that 248.58 speed line is much greater. Now, I will also say, I'll go back to my original point that merely holding above 238.10 will keep 248.58 in reach over the next day or two, possibly today. And if we push or open above 241.28 today, then I think it is actually likely that we can test or will test 248.58, where a daily high can be placed. As I've also been saying, following a testing of the 238.10 formation, this is a profit-taking area. If you sold the upper 250s last week or a week and a half ago, this is a profit-taking area for you 3 to 5 day, 1 to 2 week swing traders. And from here, you may have gotten long. You may be long right now, anticipating a rally back to the 256.61 channel top, which on the weekly chart once again is 257.72 all week. So yes, if we continue to place daily settlements at or above the 238.10 channel bottom, we can possibly by Friday's close reach the 256.61 channel top on the daily chart. On the weekly chart, that actually held better, obviously, because it's a little higher, and that's at 257.72. Let's continue with the downside. Let me cover the worst case scenario as we move into February, and that is a settlement below 221.36. I don't expect it this week. I don't expect it necessarily at all. I let the market sort of tip its hand, so to speak, with respect to its likely directional dynamic over certain time horizons. And right now, what I'm seeing is that you can bottom pick the low 220s as we move through January, because from here we can rally back into the upper 250s within 2 to 3, 3 to 5 weeks of doing so. We could fill that wedge out between 221.36 and 257.72, that weekly channel top, for the next month. But if we do close below 221.36, that does tip the market south into February trade. The following, I'm going to say 3 to 5 weeks, we should then test this 180.16 descending channel bottom, which I've been mentioning is a real clear possibility in the months ahead, holding below this 257.72 channel top, the 179.22 channel bottom in reach as a 3 to 5 month possibility, and I'm going to say as a 3 to 5 week likelihood, closing below 221.36. So back to the week itself, closing today below 238.10, 3 to 5 day sell signal down to 231.36. It could take a little longer, but I think 3 to 5 days is likely. 231.36 to 22.54, able to contain not only weekly selling pressures, but selling through the rest of January as we can round back up into the upper 250s again within 3 to 5 weeks or less of testing the low 220s. Closing below 221.36. If you're a 3 to 5 week swing trader or shorter, 3 to 5 days, what have you, no good reason to be long the Tesla. And I'm then anticipating the upper 170s within 3 to 5 weeks. Let's talk the upside. If we close today above 238.10, I don't see a good reason to be short Tesla through the week. Because through the week we could test not only 248.58 within several days, but by the end of next week or sooner, possibly by the end of this week, we could retest long-term resistance in the mid to upper 250s, 257.72. Last thing I'm going to say, and I don't see it this week, and I don't think you do either, that if we did close above 257.72 at the end of the week by a 1% margin, this week's number is 260.29, then just the opposite. Longer-term bullish continuation, meaningful gains as we move into the second quarter, 352.93 considered a possible 3 to 5 month target. It would be considered a longer-term objective, but whether we would reach it in 3 to 5 months is obviously the big question. And I think that pretty much rounds it out. Please click like, share, subscribe. Check out wickedstocks.com. Take advantage of that 5-day free trial. I'll be back tomorrow, of course, with Tuesday's Tesla. You have a great day.